Welcome to Game of Roses. This is PaceCase.
This is BachelorClues, and we have just witnessed the first round of playoffs in the inaugural season of Golden Bachelorette. I don't know why I did any of that, but I've done it now, and it's committed to the record.
I like when you say season.
Season.
It zhuzhes it up a little bit.
Yeah, I'm trying to put a little juice on there.
We deserve that after this Hometowns episode.
This was a hard watch. Let's be real. It was a hard watch. And you knew it from the very beginning in this little intro where it's Joan talking about how she has 3 grandkids and this little kid is asking her if she kissed her grandpa. We don't even know what grandpa we're talking about. And she's like, you know that there is going to be zero drama this entire episode. If that's what they're trying to tease you with, her admitting a kiss to a child.
A kiss to a child. Yes.
Yeah.
At least I had some context for it. I feel like the last episode, it was very confusing.
Yes, I agree.
This one at least didn't confuse me.
Mm-hmm.
However, this is, I gotta say, it's not one of my favorite episodes of the season. The level of play was just not good.
Some of it was. So, I mean, there was one player playing off the fucking charts, in my opinion.
Well, we'll
get to that. But
that is true.
What became clear to me. What's that?
I said Chock was playing.
Exactly. Chock didn't come here to mess around.
Chock
don't play
stop.
the game. Yeah. It's Chock o'clock, baby.
He
24/7.
I didn't see him coming when we were doing the Instagrams, but
I agree.
Really has taken over this season.
Yes, I 100% agree. But I also have to say that in the beginning of this season, I was very on board with Joan Vastos' Golden Bachelorette. Thought she was going to do a great job. And she's funny. She's smart. She's okay on camera.
She does good social media.
She's great social media. This episode, it became very clear to me that there's a problem with Joan in terms of anchoring this season.
Sorry. Pascal just started playing in my ear. I was trying to find the window.
Understood. I think that for me, Joan she's just got nothing going there. There's not a lot of emotion, at least in this hometown episode, not a lot of emotion. And she keeps bringing up the exact same thing again and again and again. There is no movement on her obstacles. She's not overcoming the obstacle, which is John died. I feel guilty. I don't know if I'm ready for this. That has been her line since episode 2. We're now in hometowns. It has not changed. So it's very hard to feel like there's any momentum to her journey. A little Hawk
character that's going to represent John, or have something that she is talking to, or she's slowly spreading his ashes through the season, or I don't know, something to kind of not just be the same note each week.
Yes, I agree.
And again, it doesn't feel like she's actually that afraid of someone saying no to her, which they brought up for the first time in this episode.
I mean, we'll get to it. We'll get to the end of this when whoever goes home goes home. We'll get to the end of it in the recap, obviously, but it was just like a non-moment. It might as well have not even happened.
That's what I would have put as the tag.
I agree.
That's what I would have put as the tag in the beginning. I would have put, I'm scared your dad's not going to choose me. Dun.
I agree. 100%.
Or your grandpa.
This little kid is I get what they're trying to do. They're trying to sell you on the cute moment, but it wasn't even that cute. It was just kind of whatever.
Oh, dang. I mean, it was cute when they did the handshake, but they didn't even put that in the tag.
That too.
Put the handshake in at least.
Anyways, all that being said, if you want to come out and watch the next episode of this, the fantasy suite, which I think is going to be a lot better. I think there are going to be some wild things happening, especially with Pascal. If you want to come watch that with us live, it's going to be next Wednesday night.
What does that mean?
I think he's going to, I think he's going to try and do some French kissing. If you want to watch this with us live, please come to 33 Taps in West Hollywood on Santa Monica. The exact address is all over our social media and everything. Next week is October 30th. That is going to be the air date of the Golden Bachelorette Fantasy Suites. So we're going to be having a costume party. Please come to 33 Taps.
Contest.
Yes. And we're going to be giving out, I believe it's a $50 gift card to anything in the Gore what is our thing? GameOfRoses.co.
Gore store.
Yeah, the Gore store. You can buy any of
it's
our
a $50
hats,
gift
shirts,
card
whatever you
to a certain selection of Gore merchandise that you will win if you have the best tot. Look, I'm not going to lie. My bar is already set pretty high by the first book event we had where someone dressed up as Grocery Store Joe and had us sign a bottle of his sauce. Look, your tots do not need to be Bachelor themed.
Yeah,
by any
mine
means.
will be. I'll be totting.
If I can get my costume together, I will be Rob from Love Island. If I can get it together in time. I think I'll be able to.
You know who I'm going as?
Dorito?
The great one, Nick Vial.
Oh.
So show up if you want to see me dressed as Nick Vial. All right, now let's get into this.
You're going to wear that wig?
Shall we?
What else are you going to wear? My makeup?
I might have some...
powdered sugar around the mouth?
Yeah. Just eating a beignet always. Every second. I eat like 500 beignets over the course of the night.
Oh, yeah.
My stomach hurts. No, I'm going to have on a little wig. I may or may not have some fake tattoos to emulate him and maybe some other accessory. Another accessory potentially.
Baby? Natalie Joy.
You'll have to come to find out. Oh, we hope you will be there with us.
Well, come join us. The one for this week is my first one back, so I can't wait.
Yeah, it should be fun. And it's the first one at our new place.
Yes, first one in WeHo. This one won't have a costume contest, but this will have already come out. So
yes, you're listening to this on a Wednesday night or Thursday morning after this episode is aired. We're recording it on a Monday before we will have been there live and in person at the 33 Tap. So if you came out to it, thanks for coming out.
So
love to see you. It was a great success.
And also, thank you for coming. And also, the date of the next one is the 30th, the Wednesday. Remember? Joan Wednesdays. It just rolls off the tongue.
Yeah. And also, if you are just listening to this podcast, please check it out on YouTube and please leave us some comments. We like to see what you're thinking of our YouTube and everything. And if you want to see all of this ad free, join us on our Patreon where you get every episode ad free, including the videos and all those PaceCase blavas and all those Clues Corners where I'm doing Love Island right now, which I love. But PaceCase, let's get to this Hometowns episode. Are you ready?
Wait. Okay, just one more thing. I just finished watching you watch the Love is Blind partner come back about the 3 kids.
Yeah.
Oh, my Dark Lord's Lachey.
Yeah.
How is this happening?
Well, I mean, look, there's a lot of conjecture as to whether or not the producers knew this guy, Tyler Francis, had 3 kids and was lying about the level of involvement of his parenting essentially in their lives when he told Ashley Donser that they didn't even know what he looked like. And now there are pictures and videos of him with them. And the mother of his children has basically said he literally was with all of them as a father until the day before he went into the pods. So that's all coming out now. And the producers
sent him a video while he's in the pods.
Yeah,
that makes me think producers knew. I'm like, okay, so you were in contact with producers.
Producers knew. He deleted his Facebook after he came off of the honeymoon. You're telling me the producers never looked at his Facebook? He deleted it because there was a bunch of shit on there about his kids.
They need to fix that loophole.
No, they're not going to fix shit. They love
the loopholes are abound.
They probably cast him and said, "We need you to lie about your kids." This was probably their idea. All right, yeah. That's probably not true.
You're probably right.
But
I mean, I assume that'll be his defense. Is like, oh yeah, I told them I was going to like do a character.
I don't know. We'll see what happens. It's 2 weeks until the Love is Blind, or 1 week actually, as of the time of this episode airing. It will be the reunion show. So who knows? We'll see what they get to ask. But if you're following Love is Blind, follow all of that on our Patreon as well. Now, PaceCase, we have this
it's a good season
thing to do here called a recap of Joan Vassos's Hometowns. Portion 1 begins. Joan is walking around Los Angeles, saying her goodbyes to the sweet city of angels, who, by the way, congratulations to the LA Dodgers in this year's World Series versus the New York Yankees. She is telling us she's getting on a plane to go to the hometowns, and she ITMs that the last time she met a family was in 1983. And of course, these hometowns look different for people her age because you're going to have to meet the kids. And Joan is excited to see these guys' lives. Yeah, they mentioned the internet. She reminds us she has 4 guys left: Pascal, Chock, Jordan, and Guy. Only one of these final 4 she did not mention had some restraining order trouble, at least that we know of. She ITMs that she hasn't used the L word yet because she's very protective of her heart, but she's moving in that direction and she hopes these hometowns will be transformative and she'll be in a place to find the next love of her life. We cut to our first hometown, Lake Tahoe, Nevada. We see Guy. She meets him by a little boat on a lake, gets a hug. She ITMs that he's kind and open and vulnerable, checks all the boxes, and he tells her that he has so many memories from this lake with his kids. They get on that boat. And he's ITMing
in that lake, there's a bunch of kayakers, and these water traversing soldiers were my Jorge Moreno bystander of the week.
Wow, interesting. All right, fair enough.
Yep.
Guy,
I've never been there in the summer. I gotta go. Looks lovely.
I've never been to Lake Tahoe. Period.
Oh my God. It's close to your clues.
Seems like a daytime
you ever
activity.
Been skiing?
Water skiing or snow?
Snow.
Yes.
Okay. Didn't go well?
I was 5 years old. It was at a resort called Angel Fire. I believe it was also in New Mexico.
So you might be good.
My parents left me with an instructor who wrote a name tag for me. CHAD, all caps. On the D, the straight line, they wrote it a little too long. And so it looked like a P. And so all day long, I was called Chap. And I corrected no one, being 5 years old. I just went by Chap for the rest of the day.
Chap. No.
Yeah.
Well, it might go differently the next time you ski.
I'll never do it again. I don't like being outside during the day.
I know. I knew it when I started going down this. I was like, daytime physical activity.
I will never go skiing again. You can take that to the bank. But Guy takes Joan out in this. What's that?
Okay, chat. Whatever you want, chat.
Oh, now you're going to call me chat. Thank you. Thank you for making me relive the trauma. She ITMs that Guy is kind, open, vulnerable, checks all the boxes. And he talks about his memories from the lake as he ITMs that he couldn't be happier and more excited to show her all about himself. Today, it's going to take it to another level, and he can see if they would be able to see the rest of their lives together. We get this aquatic date out on the boat. He's talking about his memories.
He has his arm around Joan here and asks for a kiss on the cheek here. And it was, to me, it was giving the reveal of Leo and Brittany when he kind of like grabs her in Love is Blind season, where she's like, okay, this is the most awkward moment of my life. Just felt more one-sided.
Sure. I don't dispute that. It did feel like that. But he does let her steer the boat for a minute. And he ITMs that he's afraid to tell Joan about his feelings because it could be over in a flash. He slows the boat down. As they float, he tells her a story about Lake Tahoe. He tells her that if you make a wish on the lake will grant your wish with its magical powers. And he reveals some stones. He wishes to make incredible memories with an incredibly special woman, and he throws the stone into the lake. Joan then wishes to find somebody to spend her golden years with and throws the rock into the lake. This was a good play, a good idea for a play.
It's a good idea. It's cute. Very poorly executed. You had how long to come up with this? Days by yourself where you don't even have a book or TV or anything. And you're saying incredible 3 times. Incredible memories, incredible place, incredible woman.
I also just felt like it was like, okay.
Thesaurus.com.
Yeah. My wish is to make these memories. Bloop. Well, my wish is to find somebody to not be alone. Bloop. They were just both kind of like,
here. Fall off.
Falling in.
See if Joan saves you.
Yeah. Like you stand up to throw the rock. Whoa, you slip, fall in, get eaten by a giant catfish. I would have loved to see anything in this episode. God, I agree. But he does get a kiss
Joan loves being on a boat, but it is ruining her hair. And he gets a kiss on the cheek. Oh, they do get a real kiss. He's on the board. They go to have a little lunch on the beach, and he says, he's having feelings, but he's nervous. It's about taking risks. The exact same paragraph we hear 1,000 times in this episode. And Joan brings up this guilt about John,
which we've gotten
though she
since
knows she deserves
2.
to have love.
Or even episode 1, she mentioned it in one of the little one-on-one things, the little mini dates, if I remember right. This has been her exact same obstacle for the entire season. And it just like, you can't do that. At a certain point, it's got to pivot to be like, oh shit, I'm having real feelings now. I think I'm beyond the guilt of it, but now I have this fear of like, can I even do this again?
To Reno or like,
anything else. It just becomes very boring. And you know, we know at this point, or at least I was like, fuck, I hope this isn't going to be what she says every time. And it is. She has basically the same obstacle that she's had since episode 1 in 4 consecutive hometowns. That is hard to watch, in my opinion. It makes it feel like it's not real to me. Like, I don't know if this is really an obstacle for her or not. I think maybe this is just my 2 cents at this point. I think she has already selected the winner and she is not good at acting. That is what it looks like to me. So she's just coming up with the same thing. And she's trying to make that her
obstacle?
Yes, every time. Like, well, I don't know. I'm feeling guilty about John. Well, I don't know. I'm feeling guilty about John.
I mean, it's a really hard dance to do, to like carry the show as the lead and to act as if you have feelings for all of these people while still protecting the person that you are picking. Yeah. We get this meeting of the family. Almost every person in Guy's family starts with the letter G. Gary, Greg, Gwen, Greer, Mackenzie, Black Sheep.
Mackenzie is his daughter, though. It's the siblings of him and his siblings are all G names.
Oh, his tier.
Yeah. And then he has a son named Glenn. So he carried it on through one person in the next generation, but Mackenzie sidestepped it.
I do like that. The Kardashians do that, and I think it's fun.
Oh, nice. I would just name them all the same thing. Everybody's name is Guy.
Skabulian.
Yeah. Oh. All the men are named Guy, and all the women are named Girl. Something like that.
Jesus.
Guy ITMs that he's excited to see his
Paternal.
family. He says, Guy says he has a big family and he needs them to help him figure out his feelings for Joan. He wants that validation, basically a glow and a blessing. The group debrief, we see the family before they get to split off into their separate little one-on-one talks and stuff. They all tell them basically what the dates were.
Is this one of the weakest debriefs we've ever seen?
Yeah. It's
she tells the story about Charles.
Yes.
Learning through this process. And it's about the second audience all bonding. It's nothing about like, oh, well, Guy got this group date rose because nothing.
Exactly. It's nothing about their relationship. But see, this is like where I start to question it, because that's what's in the edit. What the producers are showing us is this story she told about Charles L. Did they say anything about their relationship? I have to imagine they didn't. Like, if that footage existed, I think the producers would have put it in the cut. I don't think it was there.
I mean, they don't seem to be editing out the restraining order guys, so I don't see why they would edit out something juicy. Yeah. He love level ones her in front of them. We see the one-on-one time with the sisters. We get a lot of numbers on this date.
We get a loaded glow too. Guy's sister Greer ITM's a glow. He looks like a different person. And then we get that 2-on-1 time with Joan and Guy's sisters. And Greer says he's had a lot of rough years. She lost her husband at 68, a mirror PTC to Joan's PTC here. And she says Guy was always there to encourage her. He has a huge heart. Greer ITMs that she'd be happy if it works out with Joan, but she knows she has 3 other guys and no one knows how she's feeling. That essentially is a blessing. Then we see one-on-one time with Guy and Mackenzie, the daughter that does not have a name starting with G. He issues his other guy's attack. Mackenzie doesn't want him to get his heart broken, but putting yourself out there is part of the process. And we get a lot of that in this entire episode. Like, I know it's scary, but you have to do the thing you said you were going to do when you came on this show. And that's the whole premise of the show. Guy ITMs that his kids have now become parental toward him, a role reversal. And we see this 2-on-1 time with Joan and Guy's sons. They issue a values attack about how their relationship has progressed. They all agree he's a great person, and the sons think this is the start of Guy opening a new chapter. Glenn ITMs, they hit it off. She fits into the family. He's worried about heartbreak. Then we see 2-on-1 time with a Guy and his sons. They ask him on a scale of 1 to 10, rate where he's at now. He says a 9.5. They ask him if he'd propose. Forced precog here. He says he would. Guy ITMs that his family saw him go through a hard time. Their opinions mean everything. We then see 2-on-1 time with Guy and his sisters. They glow him outright. You look happy as a lark. And this abstract, metaphorical lark was my creature of the week. Thank you.
It was a tough creature episode.
There were no creatures.
Is abstract.
I was like, she said the word that is a creature's name. I'll take it.
We see Guy do an interesting thing, which he says, I've fallen in love, which is a loaded love level 4. And then we see him and Joan reconnect at the dumping bench.
They give him a blessing here, too.
They did?
Yeah, the sisters say, you look good together, and I would love to have her in the family. That's a blessing by my books. And a glow, technically.
Yeah, it's in the book. It's in the stats.
Yeah.
At this bench afterwards, he says, I've fallen big time. It's so close to a love level 4, but he kind of backs it up and he says, I'm really falling. Love level 3.
Yep.
Gets that kiss. And we're out. Really basic 4 TRR hometown. Not much we learned about Guy.
Yep. It was just kind of a quick in and out. And this is also, to some degree, a symptom of the 90-minute broadcast time. They are carving, 15 minutes, roughly 15 to 20 minutes out of the actual program time here to make it fit this reduced airtime. You know, maybe there could have been more, but also I'm like, I have to imagine they put the best shit in this cut. So like, if there would have been more, what would it have even been? I don't know.
They did fall in the water.
Release the overboard tapes. Portion 3 begins. Chicago, the first of 2 Chicago hometowns, is Pascal. Joan ITMs that she has 2 hometowns in Chicago. Seeing their families only makes the connection stronger. Guy's hometown was great, but today she's here to see Pascal. They have this unique relationship. He has a zest for life. He reminds her of John. Pascal gets some coffee.
That's a good indicator.
Is it?
Isn't that the bar?
I don't know. I don't know if it's the bar or if she doesn't want to be reminded of him as she's trying to move into the next chapter. I have no idea. But Pascal,
they have coffee at a place called Hometown Coffee. Love that. Cute.
Have you been there?
No. Have you?
Hell no. But as Joan
it's called Hometown on Hometowns.
Nice.
Okay.
As Joan comes to meet him at this Hometown Coffee establishment, she walks toward him slowly with arms wide open and a big full mouth smile, full eye aperture look of elation. That was my
face play of the game.
Joan was doing some good face plays upon the meetings of the guys for this whole game, and I love this one.
Open mouth aperture is one of her good plays that she does. She has always got that mouth wide open. Thank goodness we get to see Pascal's salon where he is living his own Golden Bachelor dreams every day, it appears. There are so many women.
This was by far my favorite hometown. Like, I won't say my favorite. I did like another one, but this was by far my favorite kind of, let me take you to work and show you what I do that we've ever seen in the history of Bachelor, I think. It was beautiful. It's
so good. It's exactly what you want from this. All of these women talking to them. She gets the VIP experience in which she washes a stranger's hair.
And this stranger
gets, I think,
who had his hair washed by the first Golden Bachelorette was my Jorge Moreno, bystander of the week. Now,
that's a good one.
I used to get my hairs cut when I had those hairs before I just started shaving my head, which I recommend to everyone. I used to go to a place out here in LA called Umberto. Do you know this place?
No.
It's very much like Pascal's salon. And I went there because my agent many years ago was like, this is the best place. I get my hair cut here. You got to go there. So I go there. And I've had that exact scenario. Laying with your head in the little tub and getting like a scalp massage. I used to love that. It brought back fond memories. Thank you, Pascal.
I always get that when I get my hair done, and I hate it because my skull is very sensitive and it always hurts. But maybe not with Joan's golden hands.
Yeah, you got to get a head massage from Joan now.
I think Joan would be gentle. They give her champagne. They go and sit on this random bench together. And Pascal, does he play love level? No, he plays walls.
Yeah.
He says he was signed up by his daughter. This is, these kind of lines are always interesting to me when people include this, because it's kind of like, oh yeah, I wasn't trying to go on The Bachelor, or like, oh yeah, I got recruited. People will say that sometimes. And he says that he was heartbroken and lost that trust. And Joan is like, same, but me with John. Yeah, she
brings up the John thing again. It's just every time. I get it. I understand. And it's terrible to lose the love of your life. I'm not saying that's not a bad thing. But in the narration or the narrative of a show like this, you got to give story movement. And this has been the same thing for the entire season. And now you're at this pivotal moment where like hometowns really are the first round of playoffs, where you're looking for the blessings of the family and the glows. And you're hoping that these relationships are moving to that next step. That next step can't happen if you're playing the same PTC from night one and not moving past it at all. And we even see in the thing at the end of it where it says next week on The Bachelor, she's saying the same shit at Fantasy Suites. Anyways,
I mean, it's tough. It's tough. Like, it's not just Joan's fault though. This is also producing. Like, they should have been like, okay, we've heard that. Maybe you can like start talking about this, or like something about like their current lives. Like, what is she doing day to day?
Agreed. They could get more out of her potentially. Also, there were a bunch of different Golden Bachelorettes they could have cast, and they chose Joan. That initial choice is like, there has to be more put into it, I think, than just like, oh, she looks like the Golden Bachelorette that we want to be the first Golden Bachelorette. They had so much more game footage of all the people who stayed in that season. Yeah. And there were so many choices that you're like, what Susan Knowles, for example, what she's going to bring. It's going to be hilarious, heartfelt, et cetera, et cetera. Like some of those finalists, what they were going to bring. FEMA, what that season would be like.
Ugh.
Joan was kind of
seeing the FEMA season throughout this. I just keep having visions of it.
Me too.
I'm like, FEMA would have just gotten naked and jumped off that boat.
Maybe. But I mean, you definitely...
In my mind, she's just like a free spirit player, and she'd go to the 100th degree. But
Joan was like a little bit of a wild card. She didn't have enough game tape to really know what she could do, And I think they took a chance on her. And there are many things she does great. But I think as we're getting into these playoffs, it's like, it's a little hard to keep hanging your hat on this, like, John died. I feel guilty for having feelings. I just can't watch it anymore, but I think we're going to have to.
Yes. It is giving not over the John situation, which is like, it's not something you want to hear when you're dating this person. It's not something that you want to hear when you're rooting for this person to date other people.
And it's
you
not
want her to be healing or healed.
Yes, healed. She's the lead of a show. And the premise of that show is we're going to give you 25 guys to find your soulmate. If your entire narrative is, I'm not ready to find another soulmate, maybe you're not the person we should put at the head of the show. That's the premise of the show. Like, it's wild to me.
I don't know. It's like, I see why you want to do a widow or widower.
Totally.
But it does need some time between it. And it almost is an argument for a divorcee.
I agree. I totally agree. Nonetheless, Pascal does get a kiss here, and he drives her around in his Aston Martin, showing off his sports car. And then they wind up at his familial home where he's ITMing that this is the longest he's gone without seeing his kids. He's happy with the day portion, but he wants this validation from his friends and family. He believes they're going to ask the hard questions. And then we see a kind of pre-meeting debrief of the friends and family. Natalie, the daughter, is nervous. John, the friend, says it's the longest any of them have gone without talking to him. Natalie says they are looking for, quote, all the glows when they walk in.
Behavior.
Yes, it is. Thank you, Natalie.
This whole hometown.
We know you're watching, Natalie.
Looking for all the glows. They predict what outfit he's wearing too. I love this. That's so fun. Predict he's wearing black. He is.
Could you predict that about me? What my outfit will be?
Yeah.
Because it's literally the same.
I would say 99% of the time.
I highly recommend shaving your head and wearing an all black outfit for anybody.
Yeah,
out
you
there.
always tell me this, but it's easier to do that as a man.
I can't help that. They enter.
I'm just
Joan
saying.
has Kringles, flowers in a
Privilege. Bald privilege.
bag. I guess. I mean, look, I won't be bald on October 30th. I'll simply say that as part of my talk. Hugs all around.
Get excited.
If you want to see a haired Bachelor Clues, we see Pascal's daughter.
This family,
Natalie.
This family is full of hot kids. I feel like this should just be stated. I think the internet is going to go crazy for these people.
Maybe
they look like they should be on the show Outer Banks.
Will he be the next Bachelor based on this alone? We see
a little young, right?
Who, Pascal?
The kids.
Oh, I'm talking about Pascal as Golden Bachelor. Yeah.
Oh, I could see that. Yeah.
I could see it possibly as well. We get this group debrief as they come in about the dating history. They ask about her first impression. Pascal explains he was the first limo exit, got the first kiss, had the first one-on-one date. Joan says she thought he was sexy. Price then asks, where did he sleep? Price, the grandchild. Did he sleep in bed with other grandpas? We get big laughs out of Price's comedy routine here. And Pascal admits he was sleeping in a room with 4 grandpas, had to kick one out because he snored too loud. Natalie then ITM's a glow about them being the hottest couple she's ever seen. He was smiling and she touched his leg, they bring up. We then get this one-on-one time.
This is textbook glow.
Yeah.
If someone asked me, what's a glowing family? I would say, go watch Pascal's hometown date.
100%. I agree. We see this one-on-one time.
We get one-on-one time between the son, Maxim, and Joan. He winks while he's talking to her. Pascal has already imparted his ways onto this man.
Yeah.
Yes, he's had a lot of girlfriends, but he's sick of dating, he says. And then we see him and Pascal with this son. I feel like the son, they're really trying to cast him for something. I don't know. We see he says, "You're my blood," which was interesting bloodline play. Mm-hmm. And he says, "I'm always on your side" to his kid. Pascal cries and gets a son glow. Beautiful. Yeah.
I thought that his tears here were great.
They say like his tears never happen.
Yeah. This is the only time that he's seen him cry. One-on-one time, Natalie and Joan. Then, this is his daughter. Joan says he's very much like her late husband. So we're re-invoking. And he lives big. Natalie says that he had a huge smile and that made her happy. That's kind of a glow. She thinks Joan would fit into the family. That's a blessing. And there's a connection. Joan's biggest fear is that she would pick him and he wouldn't pick her. We also get that. She uses that exact line a couple of times in this on 2 different guys. Natalie says, no way, he will pick you. She feels that Joan is already family. And Joan says, I love all this whole family. Then we get the one-on-one time with Price, the grandson, and Joan. This is what we saw in the intro. They're talking about the kissing, and then they do a secret handshake. I mean, this just wasn't the biggest moment of the show. Not even close. And to try and put that as the thing to like, oh God, I gotta see her tell that little kid she kissed her grandpa. Which one was it? What? I'm checking out almost. Like when I saw that intro, I was just kind of like, oh, this ain't gonna have nothing in it. And it did though. This episode did have a couple of things in it. And they didn't go with any of that to tease us.
Both Pascal's and Chock's hometown dates entertained me greatly.
I agree.
We see Pascal and his daughter. The daughter produces tears. The whole family is crying. Oh, now I'm realizing this is the woman who did the TikToks.
Oh, like, right. Oh,
you don't know my dad, but he's actually...
All right.
So that makes me think she is a reader.
Yeah.
They do this. She does a little handshake with a little kid. They go to the bench outside. Joan loves the family. Pascal, they make me happy. Joan, I love that kiss.
That's our first I love that of the episode.
And Joan ITM, she is scared. Next hometown is Chicago again. Mr. Legs.
Have we ever had that? 2 hometowns in the same city?
It does not feel familiar, but I'm sure it must have happened.
I don't know. I can't remember it off the top of my head. I can't remember.
I wonder. Okay. They've done I remember they did Caitlin Bristow's one in Arizona or something because they couldn't go to Canada.
Yeah,
Maybe
right.
that was in the same place as something else. I don't know, but it was very strange. Joan is wearing a very bright pink shirt. I liked this.
Yeah.
And I thought Jordan's last episode, will we see the reveal that he was Mr. Legs? And it didn't come up this whole season.
I know.
Not in the document.
I know. Waste. Absolute waste. We needed close-ups of those legs while he's sleeping.
While he's sleeping.
Maybe not that exactly, but
we needed to see those legs in repose.
we needed to see these legs with a macro lens. I needed to see the vascularity and muscularity of these legs. It was the promise unfulfilled. That's what I remember
feel like
the season
they didn't
for.
Have him saying it because it was too charming and they didn't want us to root for him.
Yeah. They were like, this guy's a fucking dud. He's a floater who's lucky to be in hometowns. Fuck his legs. They probably have hours of
Floater
Jordan leg footage.
Floater doesn't get to reveal anything.
Yeah, they were like, fuck that, scrap it, re-edit the whole season, get rid of his black box his fucking legs. Don't give him the satisfaction. They go to a deep dish.
Black box his leg.
They go to a deep dish pizzeria and they eat a heart-shaped pizza.
Lou Malrat is the name, I think.
I didn't see that. Lou Malrat?
Lou Malratties. I don't know.
I have no idea what it was, but they eat this heart-shaped pizza and he tells her he's an eater. Got news for you, Jordan. All living creatures are, myself included. She says...
I would say you're not an eater.
What the hell are you talking about?
I would say like an eater is a person who's like, I love, like a foodie is like a person. I love food. I love going to try food or whatever.
An eater is just somebody who eats. That's all of us.
I guess I thought an eater was a foodie.
Maybe it is.
But you are the type of person who's like, if it can just be one little thing injected into me and I don't have to eat, I feel like you would do that.
I would rather it be a pill or a bar. I don't like injections.
Okay, a pill.
Yeah. Or like a power bar. I used to eat power bars constantly.
The grill is close to a power bar. You freeze that stuff, that could be bars. He gives her a little rainbow cake. Best in Chicago, he says. She doesn't deny it. Then they do shot o'clock and a little Chicago handshake, he calls it. Mm-hmm. I guess a Chicago handshake is a shot of something?
I don't know. I didn't get this either. This may be some kind of local colloquialisms. I'm not.
She should have been like, yeah, I'll show you a Maryland handshake and like tongue him.
Kick him in the balls. Pants him. I need to see those legs.
Meeting of the family 3. Immediate daughter tears for Jordan. Good job. And one of these daughters, Allie, has a little tattoo of a snake. And this snake is strutting its stuff, just like Rob from Love Island USA Season 6. And that's why it was my Creature of the Week.
That's a good one. I didn't even notice it. Didn't clock it. Thank you. Good eyes.
Well, as someone who's trying to think of how to get one for their Halloween costume.
Oh, a snake tattoo?
I'm thinking about snake tattoos.
I'll give you one.
No, not a real one.
Weak.
Do I want one of your tattoos? Your tattoo artistry looks terrible.
I've never done a tattoo. What are you talking about?
Didn't you do a stick and poke on your arm?
When I was 13, that doesn't count.
It's bad.
My artistic abilities have grown since then. I've overcome my obstacles, my artistic obstacles in the tattoo. I've never given another tattoo.
Well, you're in the running if I get a real one for you.
I think I could do it. Is that insane? I think I could give you a good snake tattoo.
I think that would be so painful.
Yeah, they hurt.
I have no tattoos. I'm like, I guess maybe I would do it, but I think I would get bored. Anyway, they recap their ice skating date, which I asked Erica, how is working in the ICU? My friend, she said, I'll never ice skate again. Ominous.
Oh. Wow.
I guess a lot of accidents.
Yeah.
And we get this brother Dan, who really comes center stage in this meeting the family. He says, I have marriage longevity. I got engaged right after meeting my wife, and we were married 38 years later. And he gives a globe to Jordan. Good job, Dan. One-on-one time with the brothers. They say, Jordan's a great dad. And they both start crying. Great.
Joan doesn't, though.
Bro tears.
One-on-one time here then with Jamie, the daughter, and Jordan. He says he's not going to be to the love level he needs to be in 2 weeks. And Jamie says, you've never been in love since mom's divorce. We know this isn't going to end well. 2-on-1 with then Allie and Cody, that's Allie's partner, and Joan. Joan says they all have fun. She and Jordan when they're together. Allie explains his divorce from her mom was hard and he hasn't dated seriously since then. His walls are getting deeper and that's why he uses humor. She asks if the other guys are more open than Jordan and Joan just flat says 2 are open and 2 are not. She just gives the straight score to these two daughters.
Golden.
And I'm like, well, holy shit.
She literally says it like we never hear. Like we just hear the leads kind of dance around. They're all on the same level, even though there's no way that's possible. I loved this. Yeah. I feel like this is just the kind of thing you get in Golden.
She's just flat out like, I've already selected my 2 finalists. Yeah, exactly. I know who's going to be in the final episode, and it is not your father. Anyways, I love your family. Do you have any more cake?
But he could be 3 or 4.
Yeah, exactly.
3 or 4. The game's still open, wide open for 3rd or 4th place. And are the other guy? She says this line that I think should have been the tag. I worry your dad might not pick me.
Yep.
And then we see Allie, the daughter, and Jordan. And Allie's like, hey, are you being vulnerable with her? She says you have walls. Literally is like, you have to love level.
I know.
And Jordan's like, I don't know. I guess I could be more vocal.
Yeah.
And the partner of Allie, Cody, looks at the camera for the 2nd time this episode and makes my
face play of the game.
I saw this too. I rewound it. I was like, is she looking at me? She's looking at
Cody
me.
Cody looks at the camera twice. Doesn't say a peep, but her face says it all.
I loved it. Brilliant.
They sit on the steps right where Jordan's supposed to give this love level. And he says, they loved my energy.
Yeah.
Let's make out.
Yeah. He says it's the biggest step by far. And he hopes he's like, I hope we can continue making big steps. And Joan's like, do you think it's worth trying? And he's like, yes, it's worth trying. And Jordan saying that it was worth trying instead of even raising to love level 2 was my error of the game. I mean, whatever. He's got walls, blah, 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 blah. You're in this position. You have your daughter even telling you like, dude, you got to raise a love level or you're fucked. And he doesn't do it. He's been given
Jordan,
the
this isn't some eHarmony date you can string along, sir. Jordan not raising his love level right after his daughter literally said, you must raise a love level. You're in 3rd or 4th place. Was also my error of the game.
He just fucking
shocking.
He shit the bed here so bad. It was hard to watch for Mr. Legs, to be honest. Yeah. But again, this whole season has been like there is a falseness to this season. I feel like it to me seems very likely that Joan has selected her final guys very early on in the beginning of this season. All the guys kind of know it. She knows it. And so all of the dance that a lead has to do, the lie that a lead has to present, that they care about all these other people on the same level. She's just not good at doing it, I don't think.
Speaking of things that are good at doing things, though, is Chock, our 4th hometown. We're in Wichita, Kansas.
You ever been there?
And I really thought I have never been to Kansas. No.
You've never been to Kansas, period? Not Wichita?
Why do you think I would have gone to Kansas?
Heartland, center of the country. I grew up there.
Is Kansas City in Kansas?
And Missouri. It's in both. It's on the border.
Well, one of my favorite podcasters is from there, and she always goes to this diner, so maybe I need to do it.
I've been to Wichita. I grew up as a small child in a town called Great Bend, Kansas. Look that place up if you care to see it.
PTC.
Yeah, basically is a PTC coming from there. That place was rough. They had I don't know if it's still there, but they had a slaughterhouse for pigs. And on certain days, you could smell them boiling the blood off.
Ew.
Cheers. That's Chock country.
Good thing we're not on a ranch for this date. Oh, wait.
I went to, in high school, I did a week at Wichita State, the college there, baseball camp. Because they had a really good baseball team.
I have been in Minneapolis for 3 summers.
Oh, fantastic.
That's straight shot. It's right above Iowa.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Is that close?
Nope. I don't believe so. I mean, whatever.
Well,
it's all relative.
Anyway, she runs towards Chock. I think maybe our first golden hooju. No, it's so just a kiss.
Ugh. Brutal.
Blue ball.
But he does give her a long hug, and they talk about missing each other. Another kiss here. A couple more kisses. And it seems like their chemistry is... Yeah, I agree. They sit on this bench, and he says, you're going to meet my dad, his wife. No. My dad, my kids, Taylor and Tyler.
His wife, Beth.
His wife, Beth. Kathy's father and her brother. This is the woman he was engaged to for 7 years before she passed away. He's never introduced anyone he's dated to Kathy's father, but this guy is like a father figure to him. Joan ITM's excitement about meeting the family. They all meet up next to this lake on a ranch. It is a picturesque, beautiful place. And when they walk up to, in quotes, the family, there's about 1,500 people here cheering and waving. Chock was like, I'm not fucking around. Everyone I know, bring somebody you know as well. This is the biggest meeting of the family. This is the wedding. It basically is. I think this is the biggest meeting of the family we've ever seen in terms of sheer personnel.
What about Daisy?
I can't think of one bigger. Yeah, I guess she did have a whole Christmas tree farm.
Daisy can't have a whole people. There's been like a giant family barbecue before.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think this is actually the biggest, but it was a lot. And it does say something. The volume of bodies that you get to that shows kind of your commitment to this. Like, you're not embarrassed of The Bachelor. Not only that, you want to show her off.
And it's your family support. If you can get that many people to come out, it's like, they're all behind you. They love this for you. They're happy as hell for you.
And he is then able to do this public declaration. I got the first kiss. I got the first date. I'll get the last kiss. I was like, I have goosebumps.
Yeah.
Literal.
I agree.
So good.
Then we get this thing where basically people are taking turns kind of coming to the front of this giant group and addressing them. Chock brings up Tom Sr. This is Kathy's father. The father and brothers are there. Joan ITMs that she feels a lot of love. Roger gets up to give a speech. She recognizes the family's matriarch, Jill Cobb Thomas, and they plant an oak tree at the ranch. And this planting, well, I'll wait. I'll wait for it. This is where the play, it starts.
Planting of the oak tree by Chock to say goodbye to his mother and help Joan say goodbye to her as well to get this spiritual blessing was my play of the game.
It was mine too, but I'm going to do it at the end of the play. Because the play is long. God, this is a beauty. I mean, to think of like, whatever.
Scoop them.
I'll do it.
What?
I'll do it at the end.
Okay.
We see a picture of Chock's mom. What's that?
We're almost at the end.
But he does some other stuff in this play, is all I'm saying. Yeah. We see a picture of Chock's mom. Chock's brother Michael gets up and says, I'm happy to meet Joan. I see her in his laugh. He talks like a preacher, this brother. I think he probably is one. Everyone, he's like, and today, I'm just happy that we're all here to give a little tribute to our mother. And no. He sounded like he was on a stage in a church. Everyone in the family gets up, gives these little speeches about how much Chock's mom meant to them, how happy she would be for Chock on this journey. Chock ends the speech with his own speech about how inspirational she was and how this is a celebration of life. He thanks everybody for being there, and he puts dirt on the roots of the trees. Joan then puts dirt on the root of the tree. They are forcing her to be a part of this. This familial tree planting tribute to Chock's mom was my play of the game. Think of the setup of this. You've got Guy being like, I'll take her out on the boat. We'll throw some fucking rocks in the water. Chock says, I'm going to get 1,500 of my closest personal friends and family to come plant a fucking oak tree on my buddy's ranch and get Joan to shovel dirt onto the roots as we have a picture of my mother and tribute speeches to her. This is a level of play that should put all these guys to shame. When they're going back and watching this show, they should feel embarrassed that they were playing on the same stage as this man. This is an utterly dominant play by a superstar hometown player. This is the first round of playoffs, boys.
It was astounding.
Yeah, and I agree.
Also, it's like, sure, maybe you could set up an elaborate hometown date if you had all preseason to prepare. No, this is an event that can only be triggered by the horrible PTC that he endured in season. So it's basically on the fly. Yeah, it's intense. We see the granddaughter is crying. Chock yells, "Cancer's evil. Love level for you." Chock produces tears. It's an important kind of funeral, basically. And we saw a bird funeral.
We did.
We've gone to the grave of a grandmother, but nothing this direct and intense.
I agree.
And Chock has his love goggles on. He ITMs. Joan's a fairy princess. She keeps sprinkling her love all over me, and I love it. I lick it up.
Yeah. And then we get some 2-on-1 time with Chock's kids and Joan. She says she loves the special things about him. He's an amazing person. The daughter asks if she sees a future with him. She says she does and produces tears. This is a future cast with tier 4 TRR play. Joan then talks about when he left. When his mom died, she was afraid he might not come back to the show. And when he came back so quickly, she was very happy. That's when she realized he is important. She's not using the love word here at all, but she is giving him a little bit of favor in the way she's talking about him. We then see 1-on-1 time with Roger, the friend, and Chock. Roger says he's never seen Chock like this. That's a glow. Chock says he's crazy about it. It's a love level 1 loaded. 1-on-1 time with Joan and Tom Sr. Tom Sr. glows. He says it's the little things like putting an arm around her, something he's never seen Chock do, except with his own children. Joan says she had an important support from her family about finding love again, and she thinks people you choose as your family are important, like Tom Sr. Tom Sr. then says Chock seems so happy, and he blesses the both of them, saying, if you come into this family, I bless you. Like literally blessing them. Tom Sr., he was almost my parental player.
The old fiance.
Yeah. He was almost my parental player of the game. But someone else comes right up here. Joan ITMs that the hardest thing a parent can endure is losing a child. Tom Sr. said he hasn't seen Chock that happy since Kathy. A great compliment. Tom Sr. tells him that she's family if she wants to be. Beautifully played. But then we see... I know. It's there if you want it. That's a blessing. We then see 1-on-1 time with Chock and Jay, his father. Jay is shocked that Chock is doing this. It's not like him, but after meeting Joan, I get it. I know you've wanted a relationship since Kathy passed. Chock asks how much his dad thinks Joan cares for him. His dad says, it looks like the two of you are in love. That is a glow. He's never seen that before where Chock sparked. Then he says, am I right? Are you in love? He tries to pull out this loaded level before Chock says, well, Chock's getting closer, but Chock's a little
that's not
reserved.
what we talked about. Just the oak tree.
Yeah, exactly. I told you to put dirt on that tree and that's it, motherfucker. He doesn't want to get hurt. The dad says, let me help you. You are in love, son. It's in your face. It's in your eyes. And you can't dodge it much longer. And Chock's dad, Jay, was my parental player of the game. This was unreal. He was basically pushing him over the ledge. You are in love. Admit it. Accept it. Move on. Brilliantly done.
Admit it, like two men having this conversation, especially two golden men. And also, it just felt like a movie moment.
Yes.
Both from like your family, if you want to be, from the pseudo dad to this with the like, look, you are in love. Like that's a sitcom or a movie scene. You don't see this IRL or on The Bachelor.
Absolutely beautiful. And then we get this 1-on-1 time with Joan and Chock. She says it feels good, more than she ever expected. Chock says he's pinching himself every day because it's so great. Joan says, I know it's real. I didn't expect to have feelings this strong this quickly. I have some guilt about being happy again. She has to re-hit that.
Don't forget.
But here she does say it's a good emotion because it means it's real. She sees a future with him. The big black hole of her future is no longer a black hole. We get a kiss and Chock says, I'm falling. That's a love level 3. Then he makes her promise not to break his heart. He doesn't want to lose her, gets another kiss. And Chock ITMs that he hopes she knows how he feels. He's given her his heart and he's all in. Then he love level 3s her again. As they're going to the car, I'm falling in love with you. The AutoZone are basically just making out. 3 kisses.
Compare this to hopefully more good steps ahead.
Yeah. I think we should continue to acknowledge each other's existence in a very distant way. I think we should keep texting. Portion 8 begins.
Chock, don't balk at love levels.
Look at that clock. Chock says it's chock o'clock. Chock don't balk when love levels are ready to rock. Portion 8. Chock's love level 3 is ready to rock. It's chock o'clock. Portion 8 starts at Joan's getting ready for this difficult rose ceremony. Connections are growing, et cetera, et cetera. She ITMs that Guy and Chock are committed, but Pascal and Jordan are non-committal. She's had a bunch of emotions weighing on her. She doesn't know what to do. DLP then materializes from the darkness to hug Joan and fake like he cares about how she's doing. Joan tells him that she has 2 guys.
She wrote, I have these 2 guys committed and 2 losers.
Yeah. I've got 2 committed guys. I've got 1 guy I'm definitely kicking off. And then I've got 1 guy I have to pretend I still want to see things through with. Joan tells him.
1 guy I'm very interested to see what he does with a fantasy suite.
Yeah. And then she basically, DLP makes her run down kind of where each of the final 4 stand as these guys come into the rose ceremony. Chock, she feels like she has the deepest connection with. Guy has the values she wants in a spouse. And she likes his sweet comments. Jordan makes her laugh, but never talks about their future together. Pascal, same place with Pascal. He was up there from the very beginning, but he's protecting himself too much. And DLP asks her how afraid she is of sending the wrong guy home. And she's like, very afraid. We see 3 roses on the pedestal. She emerges to that final 4. Thanks them all for the hometowns. It was amazing meeting your families and friends. This is a huge rose ceremony. This indicates taking the next step in the journey, as all rose ceremonies do, Joan. She wants to leave the journey with a person she pictures a future with. We see that rose ceremony. We know the 2, Chock and Guy, are going to go 1 and 2. We don't know which order, but indeed they do. Chock gets that first flower. Guy gets that second flower. And now we're just looking at the slim pickings. Which one of these wall players is she forced to take to the next round? It is Pascal. He gets the 3rd rose, and we get a Tamsic for Jordan here. Guy ITMs that he didn't think he could have the feelings he's having right now. He didn't think he could get there again. He believes he's fallen in love with Joan. That's a loaded love level 4. Joan then walks Jordan out. And it's basically like a thanks for your time. Bye-bye. He gets no exit speech. He gets no real exit conversation. It's just a peace out. Joan is not in any way emotionally affected by sending him home. This is a 4th place finisher. In most seasons.
Not that they show us in the document. Think of what they did for Mark Anderson on his exit. His swan song full episode. Goodbye story.
But like, it's her lack of.
He didn't even get an ITM in the car.
No ITM in the car. But also Joan seems, at least the way this is cut, seems to not care at all about this. It's literally like a thanks for your time. Then back inside, she's cheersing with the guys. She even comes back in and goes, we did it to the other 3 dudes. You're like,
that cut did her dirty.
Maybe it was the cut. Maybe it wasn't. He didn't look particularly broken up by it either. You know?
No.
I think they were just kind of like, yeah, whatever. I floated.
These legs will keep walking through Chicago.
They just cut to him in a gym doing leg press. Guy ITMs here that he's taking it to the finish line and beyond. Joan says they're going to the islands of Tahiti. They all cheers. And Chock ITMs that Joan plus me plus Tahiti. Let me do some Chock arithmetic for you. There's a Chock math. Joan plus me plus Tahiti equals she better accept my engagement.
He literally doesn't sound like this at all.
He does in my head, though. I know it's right. I know that's how he sounds in his own mind.
To me, he sounds like George W. Bush.
Oh, interesting.
Anyway, I think I know it, but who was your MVP?
My MVP was a man named Chock for everything he did in this episode, but primarily the tree. That play, which I believe he orchestrated, was literally genius. It is, I don't think we'll see something like you just don't, even in the regular Bachelor, Bachelorette, you don't see that much forethought being put into how the hometown is going to go. It's like, oh, I'll just take her to my favorite pizza place. Like what Jordan did. Let's go eat a deep dish pizza. This dude is planting a fucking oak tree in honor of his mother who passed away in the course of shooting this season. And I agree that's circumstantial. Like you said earlier, it's a thing. These other guys don't have access to something like that. But
what do you mean? They have access to their whole lives. Like you can make anything up. Like you just have to think, and this makes me think that maybe their kids were the readers, not them. Right. But there's been a million bajillion hometown dates in Chicago. That pizza's been eaten.
For sure.
It's been eaten a lot. And you can really do anything. And it really should show something about you. Just something about your character. Something about your skills or how you're such a good family person or all your friends prey on you in a circle or whatever.
Luke Parker.
Yeah. One of the best hometown dates ever. Never forget.
Well, one of the most interesting hometown dates ever. I'll say that much. But who was your MVP, PaceCase?
Obviously, my boy Chock was my MVP. He's crushing it. He's producing tears. He had my play of the game. Mm-hmm. The parental play was unreal. Couldn't have been better.
Let me ask you one more question.
Love level 3 when no one's even doing any love levels.
Not only love level 3 when nobody's love leveling, it's the tree, it's the love level 3, it's everything. It's the coming back. Like he played this whole season impeccably. His mom dying could have been the end of his season. He came back before that rose ceremony even happened. Like a 48-hour trip, basically.
Joan was out for less.
Yeah, exactly.
Season. I mean, I don't know.
Exactly. But, anyways, do you think that
he's really destroying everyone.
Do you think the guy who got his hair washed by Joan is a Golden fan?
Yes.
God.
I mean, I just imagine like it's all the Bachelor fans who are the ones who are like, I'm going to come to work today for shooting.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why I assumed it was all women, but maybe it just is all women in the salon.
What
there was like one guy.
I wish I could have my hair washed
you
by
find him on Guy Watch.
A crown. Could you imagine? If you could have one crown wash your hair, who would it be?
Alex Michelle.
Same. That's the only one I want. Then we can at least know where he is.
No, real answer is obviously
for that 10 minutes. Oh, interesting. Mine is really actually Alex Michelle. If you're out there, Alex Michelle, and you're willing to wash my hair, there's not a lot of it. It would take less than a minute. Please contact me.
He'll let you wash his hair.
I absolutely will. But thank you,
anyway,
everyone.
that's our hometown episode.
Yes, thank you for joining us for this
wash,
recap of
your beard. Something.
I'm going to shave that off soon. I shave my head and my beard.
I'm assuming you would grow it out for Alex
once a week.
But...
Yeah, you're right. I'll have to make this like a year-long thing where I grow out my hair for a year so that he has something to wash. Anyways, thank you.
What's going on? You're
for joining us.
Honey, I need to show Alex my mane. It needs to be good.
Yeah, your hair's looking like real shit. When are you going to cut it? As soon as Alex Michelle washes it. Thank you for joining us.
Anyway, do you guys know who that is? That's the first Bachelor.
It's the first Bachelor, 2002, March 25th. Thank you for joining us, everyone. We will be back on Friday with This Week in Bachelor Nation to break down all the news that's going on around not only this nation, but the Love is Blind Nation, which by Friday is going to have a whole shitload of things happening because we will have seen, even by the time you're listening to this, actually, I will already have in Clues Corner the finale of this season of Love is Blind, the weddings. So we'll get to see who says yes and who says no. Check all of that out. I'm
more looking forward to the reunion, but
yeah, that's next week. That's going to be great. Yeah, that reunion is going to be wild.
What are your predictions for the weddings?
Taylor and Garrett, yes. Everybody else, no.
Same.
we shall see what happens. But thanks for joining us, and stick around for more coverage of everything in the reality TV dating world on our YouTube channel, on our Patreon, everywhere you get all those things.
And wear your tot to the Golden Watch Party on Wednesday. We will be in full costume.
That's correct.
Praise be Dark Lord Palmer.
Please rate this podcast. Please review this podcast. Please get a friend to listen to us, and then please rate this podcast. Please review this podcast.